My name is Ford Austin. I was born in Oklahoma and raised in Texas. I now live in Toluca Lake, California, which is Bob Hope's neck of the woods. And the name of my movie is Falling Down. Falling Down is a very intense drama that doesn't pull any punches about a man who loses one piece of his life. And what results is his whole life falls apart. So basically the idea behind that is that everybody's life is so special and so perfectly being held up that if you take one thing away, there is a very strong possibility that that person will crumble entirely.
You gave that man his daughter. I am so lucky to have you as my husband. I am so lucky. You're strong and you're courageous and you're loving. You are an amazing father, an amazing role model.
And this man, he loses somebody that he loves and he holds himself responsible. And the whole journey of the film then is how he just loses it and becomes basically a serial rapist and starts acting out moments in his life and being caught in the moment instead of letting go and letting God. The idea for Falling Down came to us, to the other producer, Mark Wasserman, who's also the star of the movie. He and I were shooting a film called Commute. And during one of our lunch breaks, we were sitting at a diner somewhere in Orange County or somewhere along the freeway, because the whole movie took place on a freeway. And while we were sitting there, I looked across the street, and there was this building that had this cursive name on it called the Professional Building. And the whole idea that you would have to put professional building on an office building, it struck me as very humorous in that moment. I mean, you're not going to call like an office building where people are going to do jobs and work, you know, the amateur building or the completely unskilled building. It's the professional building. So we laughed about that, and then I envisioned this kind of therapy session that would happen in there where it was the most untraditional therapy in the world, where instead of talking someone out of their problems and helping them move on through mental digestion of pain and frustration that's plaguing them, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a guy who would literally just beat the shit out of you? And then you would hopefully get better. The most challenging thing about making Falling Down was the schedule that we were shooting on. And, you know, Mark Wasserman, the star, he had these intense weight loss portions that he had to do for the role. So in the beginning, he weighed, I told him to gain weight. I said, just get all fat and schlubby and be just a mess. And we shot the middle of the movie where he was basically 40 pounds overweight from his normal weight. Then I said, now you got to go lose it. So we took a break. We shot for like 5 days. We took a break for a month or 2 months, and he went and lost like 40 pounds and got back down to what he was. It was 30 pounds. He lost like 30 pounds. He still had like that extra weight. But then a year later, we went and shot the rest of the movie, which happens 10 years earlier. And when we did that, he lost another 40 pounds. We really had to have huge amounts of trust between the actors and the crew. So you're talking people are being raped, they're being beaten, and it's like complete vulnerability that we needed, and we needed to maintain that. And our level of trust that we built was pretty incredible. You know, now that Falling Down is premiered, I actually can go back and finish some of the other movies that I've started preparing and started shooting before we started Falling Down. I directed a movie that I also star in called Dahmer versus Gacy. We have Harland Williams in that, and we have one of the head of the Lollipop Guild from The Wizard of Oz. He's 88 years old. He's this big, and he's 88 years old, and he's in the movie. And then we have Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses in the movie, and Art LaFleur from Field of Dreams, and it's just this really incredible comedy about serial killers that are being cloned by the government for warfare. And we finished shooting that one a few months ago, right before we started going back into production to finish Falling Down. So I'm anxious to get the editor finished on that. And then I'm also putting together a movie called Cannibal Cop, and that's going to be going into production in about 3 months. And then we're also looking at doing Falling Down 2. The main thing that I can say for all of the people who are starting out is just to never, just be fearless. Be fearless. I equate it all to this one thing that my mom tells me that I did when I was a kid. We moved to a new place in Houston, and we'd been living down in Dallas, and we moved to Houston, and I was 4 years old. And as the movers were unpacking the truck, I walked out of the house and I walked door to door to every house on the street, knocking and asking the people there if they had any children that were my age that I could play with. And that's really all you have to do. You have to go out and walk up to people and introduce yourself and say, what's your film? What are you doing? Where do I see it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just have to engage people. You can't stand back as a filmmaker and wait for someone to come up to you.